Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. How are you
Hello.
doing? There's already a lot of you waiting.
Yes.
Hi. Thanks as always for being with us during this live stream. First of all, let me say that we are extremely excited today because we are only 7 days away
Yes.
before the launch of Household Volume 2 on BackerKit crowdfunding.
Finally.
It's happening. It's been exactly 5 years for the Italian
Yes.
audience. I believe 2 years now since the first household in English language. So it's been a while. It takes a little bit of time to do household, and it will take
A lot more.
yeah, a lot more to wrap it up. But it's always our favorite project to be working at. Thank you, Jay. We, as Jay is saying, I don't know if you know this, but to celebrate my birthday last week, me and Daniela and the original playtester of Outgunned, we decided to throw ourselves out of an airplane, just to because that's what I guess that's what young people do. Um, so yes, but it's been fun. We didn't manage to bribe Simone into flying with us, into parachuting himself with us, but we will in the next future, I believe. What do you say, Simone?
It's very unlikely, but who knows? We will see. It
So
should be probably a stretch goal. That's
yeah,
like put it as a stretch goal. Photographic proof that Simones too has launched himself from an airplane. Yeah,
so
I know, Jay. I
yeah,
know. I
and
know. I agree. But I was sick at home, so I think Rico had the best weekend overall.
well, it's yeah, it's fun. I strongly suggest each and every one of you to to throw yourselves out of a flying airplane if you got the chance,
Possibly
because
with a parachute, of
uh,
course. Don't do
it's
it without, please.
uh, that's a fun experience. But back to household, because today we are here to discuss about seasons and the role that the four different seasons will have in household volume 2, because at least in household volume 2 you will be able to experience all four of the season, unlike what we do in Italy, where we basically have summer for 8 months and then we have 4 months of winter. That's basically Italy. I don't know how it is
I
in the
mean,
United States or in Canada or in, around Europe, but let us know. Um, but before we dive further into the seasons, let me say that I don't know if any of you noticed, but there was a different music at the beginning of this video, and the music that you just listened to is the official Household Volume 2 theme, composed by our friend and composer Jeff Grammy, who is the guy who's responsible for all the Broken Compass and Outcast Adventure and Memento Mori soundtrack. So he's the guy doing all the music. So I hope you like it. And in a couple of days, I believe on Friday, let me check the calendar. Yeah. Probably on Friday, we will have another live stream to see all the pledge levels together, because we are not going to see everything today, but we are also going to show you the final trailer for Household Volume 2 with the amazing music made by Jeff. Okay, only monsoon in Belgium, noted. Um, so, back to the seasons, I believe. Um, why are seasons so important in Household Volume 2? Let's start with this. As you can imagine, Household is a game that entirely took place inside a house, so under a roof. So
Yes.
for that reason, we didn't have rain or snow or even sun, inside the house. So of course, seasons were not that important inside the house as they are going to be on the outside. But when we started designing the garden, it looks pretty obvious for us that, especially from a littling point of view,
Point of view.
from a very small perspective, uh, rain is a big deal.
Yes.
But even getting ready for the colder month and having to gather food was also a big deal. So we decided that, of course, seasons would have a very big impact on the garden and on Household Volume 2. So let's start by saying that if you know Household, if you have played Household before, you know that the campaign of Household is divided into chapters, which are kind of the
Yes.
levels of your character in Household. So basically, in Household, you don't level up, but you move to the next chapter.
Next chapter.
And every chapter is roughly a year inside the house. So when you are playing Household, your character achieve more experience and kind of level up with the passing of the months and the years. In Household Volume 1, each chapter, so each level, is divided into paragraphs, and paragraphs are small quests or small adventures. In Household Volume 2, each chapter will be divided into the 4 seasons. So, starting from winter,
Yes.
in Household Volume 2, you will find 2 additional chapters. So, winter, and then summer, spring, autumn, and then you go to the next chapter, and then again it's winter, summer, spring, autumn, and you're going to have an epilogue in winter. So it's
Yes.
going to go from winter to winter across two,
And
and
the name of the period is the long winter.
yeah, that's why we called it the long winter. Um, so let's start by saying that this season will have a huge impact on the structure of your campaign, because basically every adventure that you play, every quest that you play, is going to take place in one specific season. And that's, I believe, that's the this designer wise, I don't know, it's the highest impact the season will have on the structure of the campaign, because you will be um, forced to face different adventure in different seasons. And so if you are planning, for example, a big journey, you have to be careful, because you want to travel during the summertime or the springtime, because it gets more and more dangerous to travel during winter, for example. It's also a lot longer, it takes a lot of time. So this will bring some interesting, we believe, some interesting choices in your story, in the story of your characters. Because, for example, let's say that you have to attend a festival in summer at the citadel, or inside the house, or on a tree, or in a specific place, and you are far away, and now it's autumn. So you want to spend your season possibly going to that place, spend winter there, and then attend to the festival or whatever you were going to attend to. And that's because you don't want to travel in winter. But let's say that someone needs you in autumn, or there is a beast that you got to defeat, there are some people that you got to help, there's some other place that you got to be. So what are you going to do? Are you going to play that quest, that adventure in autumn, and then you're going to travel in winter, which is going to be more and more difficult, harder for you, longer for you? Or you are going to give up on that because you need the what's left of autumn to travel? Or you try and do both of things in autumn and see if you can, or if you get stuck mid journey because there is a snowstorm, because winter begins. So yeah, that's something that we find it's really the core of your adventures in Household Volume 2. But apart from the impact that seasons will have on the structure of the game, of course, seasons will, we say they will shape the garden as they change, you know, as they pass. And they will shape the garden both in game and inside the books. Because if we take a look, if we imaginary,
Event.
yeah, take a look at this book, you will see that the book is divided into seasons, and even I don't know if you remember, but there are small events in Household Volume 1, like small sidebars inside the different cities of the house, with what we call events, which are basically
adventure book, basically
yeah,
tied to a certain chapter or a certain paragraph in Volume 1, in Household Volume 1.
so that you will now have this kind of sidebar, this kind of adventure hooks tied to seasons. So for example, when we discuss about the fountain, there is an adventure hook that precisely refers to the frozen fountain, which you can actually skate on its surface. And so you can only take that hook or do that quest during the winter times. Also, there is going to be a small mechanic revolving around traveling from place to place, because the garden is, you know, much bigger
Huge.
than the house. And this will also be impacted by season, meaning that you'll have different charts, different, you know,
Events that may or may not occur
Yeah.
during different seasons, so different kind of dangers you have to account for before you actually begin your longer travel.
and also, which I believe is quite fun, you will have different beasts that will inhabit different seasons, if that makes sense, but also they will kind of change a little bit their behavior with the season, because you have some beasts that will go you know, in their slumber during the winter time. You'll have some beasts that might be a little more energetic during the springtime.
Let's say.
And so yes, that just think about bees and wasps, how they're going to be during the springtime when the flower bloom. But also another things that will change with the season is places you can reach, because there are some things that you cannot do in certain season, and there are some things that you can only, some places that you can only reach during certain seasons. And also, but I don't want to spoil this much on this site. There might be some loot, some object, some resources that you can only find in specific seasons. For example, flowers, or some other stuff that you can take from flowers, which I'm not going to spoil, but Simona knows probably what I'm talking about. But I want to wait for a certain character to be revealed during the campaign. So yes, there are going to be some stuff that you might need to gather, that you will only be able to gather during certain seasons, and that's going to be a huge issue, because you know it takes time to go from a season to another, of course. And yes, of course, it will also, we used to say it will shape, and every season will shape the garden, and that's, I believe, it's the core of what we are trying to achieve with all the rules about seasons. We are trying to since let's put it like this, the house is smaller than the garden, but
Yes.
there is much more variety in the
It's
house
also more,
itself.
more dense.
Yeah,
It's then heavily populated, dense, with a lot of different stuff in a smaller
yeah,
spaces.
because
While the garden,
the
on the
garden
other
is
hand, is
very big, but also it's very
right.
green. That's it.
Yes.
You're under the sky, and that's it. Don't get me wrong. There are going to be some exciting places inside tree, under the ground, up on the trees, on the fountain, and we have the
Any more that
bushes.
Rico will not spoil
Yeah,
today.
I can't say anything, but there's going to be a lot of
Many, many more.
weird
Let's just
weird places to visit, but still, the difference between a tree and just your regular grass is a little bit smaller for me, for Simone at least, than the difference that you get from the basement or the bathroom. That was a huge difference inside the house. So we wanted to bring this ever-changing aspect of this huge world by basically reshaping the garden throughout the season. So that's what we're trying to. We'll try to keep the garden as exciting as possible, meaning that even if you already visited a certain place, when you visit in another season, it will drastically change. Um, and that's the ideas behind season. Let's take a look at the four seasons and how we, Simone, how we interpreted them.
yes.
So I will show you a little bit of the art made by Daniela for the seasons. But yeah. Okay, starting from spring. Here you can see a young Shinigami playing a song to a very well-mannered frog, a happy frog in spring. Um, so
The frog seems
spring,
very happy.
yeah, spring for us is the happiest season. Is the season where you're basically um, the house is the garden is in its most comfortable.
There's plenty of things, plenty
Yeah,
of food. The weather is is good.
nice.
It's warm. It's the best possible. That the most littling like possible seasons, of course. The frog is no, it's very light.
Um,
they
yeah,
they will arrive. The bad
they
one, the
will.
frog.
Yuri, you got plenty. Yeah, that's it. There's so much I cannot say about animals outside the house, but I believe that some of the new animals that you will encounter in the garden will come with a little bit of a shock. I don't know how to say it.
Yes.
So it's yeah. I don't know if you guys are ready for animals in Out of Volume 2, because you have seen praying mantis, and you have seen some squirrels, and you've seen some scary stuff, and you think that you get what's going on, but you will be surprised at a certain point, I believe. But back to the season. Spring is the happiest season because there's plenty of food, there's plenty of resources. So if you want to do something in the garden and you want to do it as easily as possible, you want to do it in spring because that's when everything gets easier. So yeah, no, not bears. It's weirder than that. But moving on from spring, of course, in spring you'll have to be a little more careful with the beasts because everything gets easier for you, everything gets easier for them as well. They're going to be in some kind of frenzy, they're going to be possibly a little bit less involved in your life that you might like. Moving on from spring, there's of course summer. Summer is the hottest season, the warmest season. There's not a problem with food, but there's a problem with water sometimes. It doesn't rain very much in summer. in the garden, but also summer will be the um, the season of the big festivals and the big parties, and there is when the litlings gather from all sides of the garden because it's easier to travel, and the days are also longer. It's when they gather to have their biggest festivals. So it's going to revolve a lot around warm nights and singing and dancing by the fire. That's going to be that kind of summer. But also during the day, you will find that the garden is scorching hot. It's going to be exhausting to travel a lot during the day, and you're also going to have a lot of trouble with water, not so much with food. Um, and yes, that's summer for you. Now we are getting in the, I believe, more difficult seasons. One that we just revealed the art for earlier today, which is of course
Yes.
the autumn
Autumn.
or fall from our Northern American friends. Autumn is the busiest
Easiest,
season
yes, possibly of
inside, yeah,
season.
in
There's a
autumn.
lot of work to do in autumn because you have to prepare like everybody else, little and beasts alike, for the upcoming winter. So a lot of gathering, a lot of traveling if you are not where you want to be when the winter starts. So it's your last chance to reach some far places before everything will become white, So yes, it's very heavily revolves around. Okay, that's the last time in which you can more or less easily gather resources. But a lot, like someone was said in the chat, you are not the only one gathering resources for the winter. So squirrel and all sorts of animals are doing the exact same thing. So very busy, very very busy season,
There's also
and
one
that's very
important
cool.
aspect that basically there's one big city in the garden that it's underground, which is called the Citadel, which is the city that was originally founded by the gnomes, like this young gnome that you see eating her soup. And the Citadel is kind of a neutral city, and it's a place where many people from many sides of the garden will try to find shelter during winter, especially in the coldest winters. So you can expect that you might need, if you need resources, if you need information, if you need a safe shelter, you might want to travel to the Citadel. And in the Citadel, you will find basically anyone. That means that you might even be stuck for the winter with your sworn enemies, or with you might reunite with some long lost friends, and it's going to be a weird place to be around autumn and winter. And also, since winter is going to be a very, very, very harsh season in the garden, autumn is the season, as Simona was saying, where you need to get ready, and that not only mean that you need to find resources or buy what you need, etc., and find shelter, but also that if you need to be someplace else, you need to start walking, you need
Yes.
to start your journey, because otherwise you might get stuck for the winter. This is something I cannot stress enough. It might happen that you get stuck in some places for all the winter and you cannot move. Just it will be too hard to leave the place you are in, or you can be stuck underground. So it's very important that you plan your autumn accordingly. And last but not least, we have the coldest season, and we are just about to show you the art. This is a first, we haven't posted yet, and it's of course winter. In winter is the hardest season and the coldest season, and why it's been represented by the barkest, which are the sturdiest, the browniest of all the folks who lives inside or outside the house. Uh, Now, winter is definitely the season that changes the garden the most. It's the season that will um, force you to make the hardest choices and to face the tougher challenges. Because it's going to be extremely hard to travel from place to place. Some places might be inaccessible, some resources might be inaccessible. Food is scarce, beasts are hungry, and they will ultimately rely on eating you if there's nothing else to eat. And of course, you might catch a cold. You might, you know, you might get ill during winter. And yes, that's going to be where the most challenging quests of your year probably take place. Um,
The
and
thing is, if you are doing something in winter, it should be very, very important. It means that it has to be done now in a very, very
harsh.
dangerous environment, harsh environment with everything is a problem. And of course, being outside without saying, because without saying, being outside of a settlement, of a city, of a shelter during winter is pretty much deadly, of course.
And yeah, that's winter for you. Um, the cool thing is that uh, the this season will not only reflect on the outside of the house, but in certain instances they might even reflect inside the house, especially where there are open windows, like
Yes.
in the Yule forest in Pinewood in the living room. Um, and so some of the rules that we will present in Household Volume 2 will be usable, will come handy even when you are playing inside the house. And there will be rules, of course, on how to apply them inside the house. So I believe that's also a plus. That you, of course, they are going to impact a little less the house than the outside for obvious reason, but still you will find that these additional rules may come handy even to spice things up inside
Yes.
your, your regular household campaigns or shots. um yeah, and that's, I believe that's it. um I think it might be time for today's reveal, Simone. I don't know if you agree. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I agree.
And yes, since we decided to put so much focus on the season, and there is um, so many little rules and especially charts that revolves around the changing of season, we thought that it might be handy for the GM to have all the rules concerning seasons at hand. And that's why we ultimately invented the season screen that you can see
Yes.
here. So that's the last piece inside the Household Volume 2 Opera Omnia. So together with Household Volume 2 and a Saga of the Long Winter and the Art of Household. Inside the box you will also find a map of the garden made by
Of
Fabio
course.
Perfidia and the season screen, which is going to have all the additional rules for Household Volume 2 concerning seasons and colossal beasts and everything that you might need to play in the garden.
Yes.
And also it helps that it comes with this gorgeous illustration made by Daniela that was represented basically in this screen. We have represented each season as one of the new folk that you will find outside.
Thank you.
Thank you, and that's probably Jay because we are always the narrator. We are always the GM in our session. I don't remember the last time that I've actually played something because I'm the one reading the books and um, directing them for my friends. So that's probably why we focus a lot on GM resources because we don't like. This is something that me and Simone have in common as GM. We don't like to prepare a lot of stuff beforehand, so we like to have all the resources at hand, and also we like to cheat. So that's why we like the screen. Um, it's important as a GM to cheat as much as you are allowed to. So yeah, thank you guys. I see there are some um, guessing going on about the weird animal outside the house, but I don't think that you can because they are not going to be weird animals. They're going to be weird animals. That's just normal animals that are weird. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, every GM is cheating. Yeah,
Being a GM is cheating.
is already cheating. Um, yeah, that's
Yes.
also true. I forgot to mention that. Thanks, Jay. Currently, also Volume One, it's available on Bundle of Holding. I don't know, Simone, if there is a link somewhere or if
I guess so. I can't put it in here. You will find it on Drive Through, I think, and all searching bubble holding. So pretty easy. Unfortunately, YouTube prevents me to post links in the chat, but you can easily find it if you don't already have it, of course.
And during the Household Volume 2 campaign, throughout all the campaign, all the Household Volume 1 books will be available in a bundle with a huge discount on Drive-Thru RPG, but still the Bundle of Holding, it's going to last a little bit less than the whole campaign, but it's still cheaper. So if you don't have Household Volume 1 in PDF and you don't plan to buy the physical books during this campaign, please consider the Bundle of Holding because it's a bargain. If we cheat, we ain't good at GMing.
It's too late, but one crisply.
But well, I don't know. I'm all about cheating as a GM. I don't believe that the GM is tied by any rules, and I don't let a book tell me what to do. So as a GM, I will do just whatever I want. But still,
For our game, it's pretty fine because our narrator doesn't roll dice because it's fun. Is this way we. Since we know a lot of people loves rolling dice, even as GM, we we implemented some things like action of beasts, the monsters in household, or a lot of charts that are always very fun to roll casually, randomly like this. But we prefer for a narrator that doesn't need to roll dice, just enjoy.
It's hard to
taking
actually.
parts in the story.
I believe it's hard to actually cheat in household because you are not rolling.
In household, it's very hard.
So
actually,
I don't know how one
There's
could
no
cheat.
amount of things you can.
But when I play any kind of OSR or that kind of stuff with my friends, I always cheat whenever I get the opportunity. That's sue me.
We are storytellers, so we prefer the most the outcome that has most sense with the story. I know
Story wins all
not
the
every
time.
game is designed for storytelling, of course.
Only 1 week left. So guys, I
Yes.
believe this is everything for today's live stream. We have talked about all the different seasons. We have talked about the new season screen that will be part of the Opera Omnia, the big green
In
box.
there,
So yes, it's just 7 weeks until this campaign. I cannot believe that Household Volume 2 is actually happening within
Yes.
my lifetime. But I'm very personally, I'm very, very happy, and I'm glad that so many of you are joining us during this live stream. And it's always really, really, jokes aside, it's always a pleasure to come back to the house and now to the garden and to explore this highly detailed yet still very tiny world with you. Um, so yeah.
Never.
Uh, yeah, we are. I believe we work a little bit. Yes, we could probably use a breather, or a little break, but still we have so many things going on. As I always say, we work on several different projects that are at several different stages.
Different stage. Yes.
That's something that I always recommend with people, because there is, of course, um, it's a good idea when you start doing something to focus on one thing, not do 10 things at the same times, because you might get overwhelmed. On another note, when you are used to produce things, it's always easier to do different things at the same time, because now this is what we are playing, this is what we are writing, this is what we are talking about, and it gets easier not to get, over stressed over something, or overwhelmed by something, or just um, disgusted, by constantly doing the same thing. So that's why we're always doing a lot of stuff. But yeah, again, thank you very much for being here. I guess we can say goodbye, and we'll see you on Friday, when we are going
Yes.
to see all the different pledge levels. We are going to see the video trailer for House of
Yes.
Volume 2, which I absolutely adore. And we are going to even maybe even spoil one of the stretch goals, because there is something that
Who knows?
yeah.
Maybe.
So we'll see you on Friday, and then we'll see you on Tuesday next week, because we are
Next
going
week,
to have,
as every single time, with our usual and very much well loved pre-launch live. We will live more or less 1 hour before launch to share with you our stress and our preoccupation and anxiety before pressing the
the
button.
launch button.
The launch
And
button.
1 week before the start of the campaign, which I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know when the campaign is going to start
don't remember.
in my time zone, but yeah, we'll see. We'll find out together. Thank you very much, guys. Take care, and thank you for being here with us.
See you in
We'll see
3
you.
days. For the 3 days.